chance, brother.
Gotta be Bud Light.
Little simple drink there.
Well, this is a Coors Light.
Why didn't you drink a Bud Light, though?
Well, because I don't sit down when I piss, brother.
We're off the rails early.
Ah,
And yes, you do.
there you go. So this episode, brother came over. It's Mila's birthday today. She's turning 9.
Oh, God, help us!
And,
Who?
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 Who? Who? Who? Are you a fucking owl?
Which daughter?
Whose birthday?
Oh, Mila. Yeah, that one.
Okay.
She's 9 going on. Oh, she's going from 8 to 9, which is basically she's going from 18 to 22.
Little girl.
In reality, that's what it seems like with that one. She's a different bird, ain't she?
Yeah, she's different, all right.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, brother, we wanted to touch on Detroit sports as a whole, brother. We've lived here basically our whole
entire
lives.
lives,
You lived
brother.
here your whole lives. I was gone for a spurt of about 4 years, but I'm back now.
You were gone for like 2.5 years, brother.
Yeah, something,
Brother
I don't
keeps
know,
saying,
3,
I was
4
gone like 4 years.
Yeah,
I was
3 or
like,
4
yeah,
years.
dude, you were gone like 2.5 years.
It was 3 years, 4 years, something like that.
It was like 2.5.
But
Anyway.
who are our most hated and most beloved Detroit sports figures of all time? Sports figures we're doing, not just sports athletes,
Yeah.
sports figures. So we're talking owners, we're
I-
talking
I-
general managers, we're talking coaches.
I think you got to include them all, brother. It's Detroit sports. I think it's one of those things there where you got to look at the whole picture, right? To me, when I think of Detroit sports, we've had a lot of winning. We haven't had a lot of winning lately,
No,
but we've known some bad rubs. We've
had a lot of winning mainly from the hockey team and the
Pistons.
basketball team.
Yeah.
Maybe like 15 years ago,
So
20 years ago.
when you kind of look at the whole picture of it all, we've been through the 90s with the Red Wings was great times. Right?
In 2000s.
And this is really kind of a personal thing for brother and I.
Mid
So-
90s and in late 2010s.
to current. So if
Red
you
Wings
go,
were good.
like that's our era that we're really talking about as far as favorite and most hated sports figure, right? We're just
Yeah,
kinda
our
doing
lifetimes.
our
Like, you know, brother's 40, I'm in 36, so
Yeah.
you know, our lifetimes. That's where we're going through.
So you're kind of going early 90s to present day.
Yeah, sure.
And I think if we were to start, what would you choose?
You
what,
want
what do you want to do?
Do you want to
Hated or
start with?
loved?
Yeah, that's what I was going to
You
ask.
want to do 1 and 1?
I think hated is more of a.
You want to do 3-3? Like who's your
I think we
least?
do hated last because I think you saved the best for last. I think most people are. I think what people love is bad, like what you hate. So I think we save who we hate for last.
Okay. Well, I was thinking we just alternate.
Yeah, let's just do who we beloved here.
Okay,
Let's
all right.
do
So
the
who's
most
okay?
beloved.
We're gonna go 3-2-1. So who's in third place for you? Most beloved Detroit.
See, I
figure.
struggle with this because we're setting this up, and even till now, this is going to be kind of off the cuff because I really only had one most beloved that I could think of.
He
Because-
did. He all through the pre-talk of the show, he was like, "I got one guy. I got one guy."
which is kind of sad in the
It
whole
is.
state of
'Cause
the
there's so
Detroit
many.
sports.
There's so many to pick
So, you know, in the state of Detroit sports, that's just so sad because of our whole lifetime of where it's been. So,
But come up with somebody. There's so many to pick from.
yeah, sure. I would say number 3, you know, growing up in my high school years, early college years, the Going to Work Pistons
Yeah.
were
They were hot.
They were hot. I mean, that was the hottest ticket in
Pistons,
town.
Yeah, Pistons were hot. Dude.
That was the hottest ticket in town.
You go from 03 to like 08. Pistons were hot.
Yeah, they made I think it was the Eastern Conference Finals like 5 or 6
I remember
years in a
going
row.
over to Luke's house, dude, and we would just
Nobody
sit-
gives a shit, brother.
Oh, I'm just
So
saying. I'd go over to Luke's house. We would watch the Going to Work Pistons in the playoffs every night with his dad, dude. It was the only thing to watch on television in the summertime.
Shush!
So number 3, I'm
good
going to go
times.
with Going to Work Pistons player, point guard, Mr. Big Shot,
Chauncey,
Chauncey.
he was
Billups.
great. Chauncey was great.
He was kind of the nucleus of that team. As much as everybody wanted to think like Ben Wallace
Big
was the
Ben,
star, or Rasheed Wallace, or Rip, who I honestly didn't really like Rip
when
that
they
much.
traded for Rasheed, I was just like, dude, I loved Rasheed Wallace as a player. He was such a smart player. Although he made one stupid ass play against the Spurs.
Yeah, he didn't guard Robert Horry.
Ugh. Dude, that cost him a title. That play right there.
Sure
I mean, as good as he was, that one play, it's almost like, dude, but it rules everything else.
It's almost
out
like
you
that
did.
one play defined his whole Pistons career.
For me.
So
yeah.
number 3 for me, I would say, since I've struggled to find one, I liked that going to work team, and I always liked Chauncey because he always seemed to come through in the clutch. He was Mr. Big Shot. I'd say Chauncey Billups, number 3.
Number 3 for you. Okay. Can I go to Michigan? Can I stretch it to college? Because I got so many.
I will allow that, I guess, because the pro teams, I don't know. It's been not good for the last 15 years of our lives or so. So you want to do Michigan? Brothers die hard Michigan. So I knew this was going to go this way.
Dude, that's the only team I care about, really. Every other team.
I'm the same way right here with this.
Every other team. I've been that way my whole life. Every other team don't mean shit to me. It's Michigan football and everything else. So my third favorite, it is. My third favorite is right now with Michigan football. That's where I'm at with it. My third favorite is I am enjoying the hell out of these last 2 years, and I am so looking forward to this year because we are going to steamroll just about every damn team up until about Ohio State.
No shit.
Yeah. And then when we get to Ohio State, we're going to that game, by the by.
Yeah, we'll try to go to that game this year.
Yeah, we got to.
The game.
Yeah. So right now it's just, oh my God. If you're a Michigan football Wolverine fan, you're loving it. And as much as the TCU loss.
Get to your player, brother. I don't want to make
I'm
this
just saying that. Nobody
gives a
right
shit.
now. I got to say it's Harbaugh. It's
So,
Harbaugh.
number 3?
Harbaugh has totally changed his tune. He is on the Harbaugh that I know.
Brother, a couple of years ago, you hated this man and wanted him out of town.
Hey, John Lennon. I can make up my mind and change it again. Sorry.
Smart man, shot in the back. Very sad.
Exactly. Number 2.
Number 2. This is going to be even harder because this is kind of on the fly here, just trying to think of one because there was really, like I said, there's only one with a bullet that I loved.
I know.
And I know you know who it is. But number 2, I've always been, especially with Detroit sports, more of a hockey guy.
But only because the Red Wings were good.
Yeah,
Pretty much
even till now. Even still up till now, I
But
still
you would
like
have
Red
to go
Wings.
from like 94 to 2012.
Yeah.
So you got. I mean,
I watched them even when they were bad though. Even when I lived in Vegas for a few years, I bought the NHL package.
but
just
you had
so
like
I could watch.
you had almost a 20-year stretch there where the
Sure,
Red Wings were
sure,
were the
sure,
only ticking it down.
Sure. But even when I lived in Vegas for a while, I would buy the NHL package because obviously we didn't have Fox Sports Detroit out there,
Right,
and it's
right.
on what is it on Bally's Net Sports now or whatever.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna get bought out. or
Yeah,
whatever.
so I couldn't watch Red Wings games out there. So I bought the NHL package for, I don't know, it was like $100 or something. Just the NHL app or whatever, so I could watch through my PlayStation and stream it. I watch Red Wings games out there in
Okay.
Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So
and it
that's-
wasn't very good.
No, this is when, this
Oh,
was...
Datsuk was on the team. At
Yeah,
that
this
time.
was like 14 through 17, probably 14 through
Yeah.
18.
Okay.
So they weren't very good, but that's just because I'm a hockey guy. So number 2, I would say the guy that kind of put the Red Wings on the map in my lifetime, one of the most influential Red Wings of all time, the captain. I go with Yzerman.
Yeah.
He's the guy that kind of put the Wings on the map.
Yeah,
I would say.
dude, I have so many memories of watching Eisman. I mean,
The goal against the St. Louis Blues in the playoffs.
thank you.
Iconic.
Although they did not win the cup that year.
Insert clip.
Go into this second overtime. Gretzky had it, lost it. Yzerman picks it up. Yzerman moving, blue line chance. Score! Steve Yzerman! Detroit wins!
Yeah, dude, that was one of those games. I'll tell you what. I went to bed. That was a triple overtime game. I went to bed.
It's against Wayne Gretzky. Wayne Gretzky was playing for the Blues.
Yeah,
that
I
time.
think Dad stayed up and watched that game or whatever, and I went to bed. And
No, I said Dave lost.
Yeah, don't even get started on that. So I go to bed, and then I don't know. That was what 1995. So I was like 14.
Yeah, it had to have been like
4
96 or it might have been like 96, 97.
It was 95, I think. Because they lost. They didn't win the cup that year. That was the year that they lost to the Devils, I think.
I was watching that game it was in middle school, and we had a Friends and Fun night in middle school. So this was like where you could show up to the school again after school was closed between, I don't know, like from like 7 to 9 o'clock or 10:30, however late it ran. And it was like a school dance. And I went into one of these teacher lounge rooms. This is how sick I am. I went into one of these teacher lounge rooms and found this game on TV and was watching this game against the Blues on television in this teacher's lounge room during Friends and Fun Night.
Jeez.
That's how sick I was.
I ended up going to bed. I just could not keep my eyes open anymore because this game went into the wee hours. You know,
Yeah, it was
triple
a late
overtime,
game.
and I ended up going to bed. And then I had this little stereo above my head in my room, you know, on my bed, and I turned it on. I knew where the buttons were, so I could just turn it on and just like I used to do it all the time, just listen to music and go to bed. And then like I turned it on, and then they talking about what songs you want to call in. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning or whatever, and the guy calls in. He's like, "What do you want to listen to?" And the guy's like, da 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 da. How you doing tonight? I'm doing good. I'm doing really good after Stevie scored that goal, and that was like I knew. Like I slept so good after that, man. Oh man, that was
Iconic goal.
Iconic.
Iconic.
That's a good one. Stevie's a good one. My number 2. Oh man.
Give me all you got.
I think I know who my number 1 is. So number 2.
Brother's number 1's probably I'm gonna guess Charles Woodson or something.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
You freaking dipshit.
I love Charles
I
Woodson.
know
I
that.
love Charles Woodson.
I know my brother.
Best player Michigan's ever had, and one of the best college football players of all time.
All right, so number 2.
God, Stevie's going on. I'm going to say I loved Sergei Fedorov. I thought Sergei, dude, was... You got to throw some clips of Sergei highlights. I'll send them to you.
3 straight goals, assisted on 2 others. Fedorov is in there. Score! What a beauty!
2-on-1 chance at the other end again. Fedorov in. Fedorov holds. He's in there. Fedorov scores! Sergei!
To it, birthday was there. Here's Fedorov. He is past Shaw. He's going to be in for a short-handed breakaway, and he scores!
He may look to end it with an individual effort. Looking to get through the Senators' defense. He's in for a shot. He scores!
Bingo, Fedorov.
Well, I guess he did.
Fedorov able to regain control. And works his way to center. Sergei Fedorov. Dance around a check. He cuts to the net. He's in. He shoots. He scored! Fedorov! We've had 2 highlights.
One of the best hockey players, talent-wise, of all time.
The guy was a freak.
Yeah. There was stories of like guys like Joe Kocur and other players that played with him, and he'd be like, dude, the guy would show up at training camp and just put on a pair of skates and just skate like the wind, man. Could just do stuff other guys could not do.
He flew like an eagle, huh?
Yeah, I mean, and then like the way he skated with that wide stance, and like there are so many players that just talk about how good Fedorov
So much
was.
power
Yeah,
in his
so,
skating.
and
He
his
skated
shot.
he skated with so much
He was a
power.
guy. He was a guy that could play anywhere, but he
did play anywhere.
But he could play defense.
He
Scotty
did
put
play-
him on
he
defense.
did play defense.
He could play center. He was the best player in the league, and I loved Peter Forsberg. I think Sergei and Peter Forsberg were the 2 best players in the league for like a 5-year stretch. And it was really good hockey, but the only problem was at that particular time, the rules in the hockey sucked. If they played in this era, they would be Connor McDavid. They would be. Sergei Fedorov in this era would be insane. So he's my number 2. He doesn't get nearly enough credit, in my opinion, but absolutely
Which is kind
phenomenal
of
player.
polarizing too, because he's a polarizing player. A lot of people either really love him or really hate him, and they loved him when he was here, and they hated him because he left. But I mean, it's like you got to look at it as a business. He's he came here from Russia.
But I
He's
thought
just-
it was the same money. I thought
he's
the
just
Red Wings
trying
offered
to-
him the same money.
He's just
though.
trying to make it. He's just trying to make his money. You know,
Yeah, but I think the Red Wings offered him the same.
maybe he wasn't getting along well in the locker room or something. He just needed out. He needed to change the scenery. You know,
That's Sergei. I think that is a bit of Sergei, though, is he's going to go his own way. But now he's coaching in the KHL, and he's like the best coach in the KHL. There's talk of him coming here.
He was dating Anna Kournikova, man, at the time, like the hottest woman on earth at the time, an 18-year-old tennis player.
Insert
Smoke
many
show.
clips. Insert many clips.
Oh, I can't insert that. We got family watching.
You can insert a little bit.
So that's a good one. Sergei's a good one.
All right. Who's your number 1?
Number 1 for me is another Russian, So I think we
Yeah.
know we're going hockey here. There's just been no. There's going to be no Lions for love on this list because they haven't been good my whole lifetime. The Tigers. This is. I mean, there's players that I was trying to think Tigers wise. I like Miggy. Maglio had that iconic home run. Verlander. There's been some good Tigers in our lifetime. No good Lions.
No Barry.
Really.
You're not gonna pick Barry.
Well, Barry was just. I mean, I'm a little younger than you, so that was. He was kind of done when I was like getting into the age to where I could watch.
Cam
sports.
was born in '86, and so then he retired in what, '99?
I don't know.
So you would have been or '98.
Maybe before that, wasn't it? He played that long.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I was.
But you were like 10, 12. You were like 12
12
at that time.
something. I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah. So I didn't see a
really
lot of the
remember
Barry
that.
stuff.
Yeah.
Number one for me though is the magician, the Magic Man.
Yeah, the Magic
Pavel
Man.
Datsyuk.
Yeah.
That guy could stick handle in a phone booth.
I've
as
never
they
seen
say.
anybody like it, dude.
He'd stick handle like a water bug. I tell you,
he
he had so many
Yeah.
insane plays, and I'm gonna have to insert
Dude,
the
do
clip.
the one against the San Jose Sharks. I think it was Joe Pavelski. I think.
No, it wasn't Pavelski. It was Ian Couture.
Yes, Couture. That's
Where he
who it was.
puts
Oh my
him through
God.
Couture skates
Oh
and
my
goes
God.
around and makes him look foolish.
Franzen back into Datsyuk. What a turnaround is Couture.
To see this and still get amazed. Watch Logan Couture right here. He's a forward. What? Oh my.
It's the guy was he was another one. Defense, offense.
Yeah, he could play
it
anywhere.
all.
Play
And
anywhere.
He did not statistically put up the amount of points that you would think he probably should have.
No.
But I think that's more of a testament to how maybe Detroit
Dude,
utilized
he
his
got
play.
voted. He got voted numerous years amongst his peers.
Yeah, he's the best player in the league.
Yeah, every other player would vote on different who is this of the league, right? Pavel always got voted the hardest player to play against and the best player in the league. He was always voted those two things.
I remember the first year the NHL All-Star game came up and they did the draft of the NHL All-Star game where they picked two captains of the East and the West or however they broke it up. And those captains would pick players to be on their team, and the number one first player taken was Pavel Datsyuk.
Always. I think it went like 2 or 3 years in a row like that.
So that tells you something right there. And I loved watching. Dude, that guy was a freak to watch play.
Yeah, he was.
I loved watching him.
He was. Dude, do you ever see the video clip of him against
Trevor Thompson?
Yes. Oh
Yes.
my God, dude.
The Fox
Dude, that
Sports
is
guy.
absolutely amazing. And Trevor Thompson impressed the hell out of me, dude. He could really skate, but Pavel was just amazing in that clip.
That was a freak. So Pavel for me.
Great one. Great one. Obviously, you spoiled it earlier, but I'm not going to blame you for it.
It was an educated guess.
Yeah, your brother knows me. I wear the jersey on Michigan game days. It's Charles Woodson, baby. The only Heisman Trophy winner to be on the defensive side of the ball.
The interception.
The interception against Michigan State, thrown by Jeff Smoker, dude. I'm telling you right now, Charles Woodson to me is one of the freak athletes I ever see play college football.
He was a Raider.
Yeah.
My Raiders.
Just an amazing. Could play everywhere. Could play everywhere.
Played safety. Played corner.
Could play wide receiver. He could play running back. He was the best athlete on the field, and it wasn't even close. I mean, that game against Ohio State when he picked off, I think it was Joe Germain or Stanley Jackson in the end zone, and then when he returned to punt in that same game, and then him and David Boston getting into it. You got to insert. I'll find some of these clips and send them to you. Oh my God, dude. Just phenomenal. And then the interception against Ryan Leaf in the Rose Bowl. I mean, like, he won that game because we did not look good. And then he picked it off in the end zone, and it was like he saved our ass. And he just did that so many times. And he was just, God, I wish maybe they got a Will Johnson. You know, he's kind of a Charles Woodson look. But number one with a bullet, C-Dub.
Let's do our most hated now. We're at 17 minutes here. Let's try to keep this timely here.
God, I can't believe we've gone this long.
My number 3 most hated is, as you can see, I'm a Red Wings guy.
Yeah, I know where this is going.
Jonathan Erickson.
Yeah, brother. Yeah.
The guy was a freaking bum from the day he set foot in the league to the day he left Red Wings.
Yeah.
And I want to fault Ken Holland for the most part for enabling him.
Yeah.
And in extending his contract and paying him the way he did for majority of his career,
Yeah.
giving him as many chances as he was like a forward when he came from Sweden, and they put him
Yeah.
in defense. He just could never get it going. He sucked. He was a garbage can out there on defense.
Yeah.
He was terrible. He was wretched. He was awful. He sucked.
Yeah, my number 3 is going to be another Red Wing. I got to be honest with you. I got so sick of hearing about Daniel Cleary and them giving him $1 million or $1.2 million or something like that. And he was toast. He was totally toast.
Dan Cleary was never good.
No, and I was just like, dude, why are you giving this guy? And that was the end of the Ken Holland era, and Ken Holland was just giving out contracts to guys that were dedicated.
He had ghost eyes too. Like he always looked like his eyes were always this big.
Yeah.
Like he looked like he saw a ghost. No matter what he did, his eyes were always this big.
It was never nothing personal against Daniel Cleary, but it was just like, what the fuck, man?
No, he was no good.
Yeah,
he was trash.
So my number 3, because it was such a long, prolonged time where like he was done for like 2 or 3 years, but they kept extending him year after year after year, and then they finally the last year they sent him to the AH of the Griffins.
He got way more play time, ice time than
for
he
like
ever
3 years.
Than he ever should have gotten.
For 3 years, and it was just a story on sports radio, and I was like, yeah, he sucks.
Number 2 for me. This is gonna draw a lot of hate from
vitriol.
Detroit, from Detroit sports fans.
Vic Vinegar.
I've never liked him, and you've never liked him, but I don't know if he's on your list.
Okay.
You call him Little Boy Blue.
Oh God.
Number 2 for me.
Oh God.
Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
Quarterback, Detroit Lions, number 9.
I do call him Little Boy Blue because he's always got that
Could not
dopey look on his face.
Stand him.
Yeah.
The notoriety that this guy got for his whole career in Detroit for doing
Yeah.
drove me insane for a decade, brother. A decade of my life.
What was his record against winning teams at one time?
I don't know, brother. He was like
9-60
yeah,
something.
he was like something like that. It was some absurd, awful. Oh well, one guy don't win the whole thing. I get that, but if you have
excuse.
If he's an elite quarterback, is what you supporters say he is. Elite quarterbacks win games for their teams all the time in this league, and he never did it.
Yeah,
ever. Because he's not an elite quarterback. Strong arm. $1 million arm, 10-cent brain. That's what I've always said about Matthew Stafford.
Walks away.
Yeah. And then he finally goes to a great situation at in LA, wins the Super Bowl, and little fangirls taking pictures of the stage. She falls off the stage.
Brother just likes this clip.
She falls off the stage and fractures her spine, and Stafford just says, "Oh my God," and turns around and walks away, don't even help the girl.
New details this morning on a scary moment during yesterday's Rams parade and rally. A photographer fell off the stage as she took pictures of quarterback Matt Stafford. Kelly Smiley posted an update on Twitter saying she fractured her spine when she fell. Saying she fractured her spine when she fell.
Brother just likes that clip.
Because it makes him look like an asshole.
You freaking dipshit.
Insert Bongino clip. All right, so my number 2, who I actually kind of liked at the time because at the time I worked at the county and I drove around a lot, was Matt Millen.
Because I don't give a fuck.
Because, God, it was such great radio all day long. I mean, you'd have
listening to the foibles.
Oh, and it was just, it was, the Bill Schrader thing when he took over and he called Bill and he said Bill Schrader had alligator arms, and then when he hired Marty Morningwig and they drove off on their Harleys, they didn't like the way practice was going, and so they took off and they went and got ice cream together or something like that. Or they had a Bud Light probably together.
So ridiculous.
But Matt Millen, dude, I tell you what,
held this franchise back.
Yeah, held them hostage. And then when didn't the Lions want to extend him or something like that? Wasn't there something wild like
something
that?
Like that?
And then they signed him to a 5-year, $25 million deal, which was really expensive at the time. And he turned out to be just a total bumbling idiot.
And even when you listen to him in commentary,
he was a bumbling idiot.
He's a bumbling idiot.
And then when he came back to do commentary for the first time after the Lions fired, remember that everybody in Detroit went and
I can't believe he's doing a Lions.
Well, they tried to do a petition like with Fox to get him off of the commentary. I did it because I hated him so much. I was like, dude, he's an idiot.
They would bring him back and he would talk about like rookies in the league and how
that he drafted.
He'd do on commentary. He'd be talking about new rookies in the league and how he critiques them and stuff. And it's like, dude, you don't know shit.
You drafted Mike Williams, asshole. You drafted Charles Rogers, Roy Williams, and Mike Williams back to back to back.
They all sucked.
Yeah, you asshole.
You freaking a-hole.
I mean, it's like what a jerk.
Yeah, that's a good one, Matt.
Dude, it gets you so fired up because it's like you look back at some of the dumbass shit he would do.
The
Lions were so bad at the time.
Number one for me, brother, is I got you topped. If you want to go Lions talk, and we might have the same number one.
God.
Here. We might have the same number one here, but I'm going upper level with the Lions.
I knew you would,
because this is a good one. And what has held the Lions back forever, brother?
The family.
The family.
Yeah, the Fords.
The Fords.
Yes.
Number one with a bullet, most hated entity or sports figure in all of sports is the ownership of the Detroit football Lions, the Ford family.
Yeah, I don't. That was good to be mine, but I'll change it just for the sake of the show. But I will say this: it's low hanging fruit to call the Fords the most hated, but they are. They have ruined this franchise since 1957. I mean, I don't know what to say. You've had one playoff win since 1991, right? Against the Dallas Cowboys, you won 38.
Since 1991. That is the one.
Well, that's the only one. And then you have pissed away the greatest running back of all time in Barry Sanders.
Greatest receiver of all time.
The greatest receiver of all time.
And what you could perceive as one of the most talented quarterbacks, Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, number one
arm
pick.
talent.
Arm talent-wise, you're not going to find a better. I mean, the way he could fling the ball like this, that, and the other. But you never got any coaching. I think he went through 4 offensive coordinators in his first 5 years. I mean, how is a guy as talented as Matt Stafford is supposed to find any damn consistency when you're changing schemes, you're changing? Didn't I say that the Lions changed coaching staffs every 3 years for like 21 years?
Something like that.
Every 20 for the 21 years.
7 times.
From 1999 to 99 to like 2021 when Campbell took over. Every 7 years, the Lions changed regimes.
No, they changed regimes 7 times.
Yeah, 7 times in those.
So every 3
Every
years.
3, that's what I meant. Every 3 years, they changed regimes. Now, how is a guy supposed to find consistency and get stabilized at the quarterback position when you're doing that? And when you have all this talent around him.
But I hate Stafford anyway. He's number 2. So who's your number 1?
Fords is a good one.
Who's number 1, you shit-eating peckerhead?
The Fords were going to be
I'm
mine.
intrigued now.
Well, I got to say, see, it's really tough for me not to pick, in some essence, the Tigers of that era, of the 06 to 13 era.
Just because they failed?
Yeah, because it's like, I'm just going to call it that era. I'm sorry, I'm not picking anybody.
But they were good.
But you didn't get over the top.
Well, you hated the results.
Oh, but they had the talent,
You
right?
didn't hate the team, though.
Yeah, but I mean, I just hated that they didn't get over the top. I mean, I would have liked to have gotten into baseball, and the Lions and the Tigers were terrible the entire time that I was a kid. So it's like I'm not getting into baseball. You know, you were into what was hot. Football was hot, basketball was hot, hockey was hot. But I tell you what, they pissed away a lot of opportunity there.
I'll throw you some honorable mentions. Since you mentioned that time frame of the Tigers, why don't we throw some players in that time frame, like honorable mention of players that I hated.
Inge,
Brandon Inge is
Don
one of them.
Kelly,
Don Kelly, Ryan Rayburn. Those are some players on those teams that I could not stand. Now, most hated of all time in my life, maybe not that high, but I did hate seeing Ryan Rayburn's stupid ass trotted out there in the lineup every freaking day. Brandon Inge was hitting like 140 at some time, and he was getting trotted out in the lineup still. And I just I could not fathom why this guy is getting played.
Another one for me, going football, is Matt Patricia. You got to go
honorable mention.
Yeah, you got to go Matt Patricia as an honorable mention. Just terrible coach.
Terrible.
You know, another hockey one for me. Erickson was good.
Danny DeKeyser.
Yeah, I was going to say Danny DeKeyser. Dude, he started off great, and then he kind of
then he started to become a liability.
Yeah, he became Jonathan Erickson.
Yeah, he became Jonathan Erickson.
Basketball wise,
I never liked Rip Hamilton.
Yeah, you hated it. What was it about Rip that you didn't like?
He was so
I liked Rip. I thought Rip was really good.
It
Dude.
seemed like Chauncey was clearly he was Mr. Big Shot, but like Rip always seemed to like.
Dude, he was so good in the midfield. Man.
But
midfield jumper, dude, he was so good.
It seemed like whenever you needed a shot though from him, he didn't make it. He was so one dimensional. Like he could never create his own shot. He needed a pick. He needed a screen.
Yeah,
he needed
that was
someone.
his play.
Like
that was his play.
He couldn't do anything unless he had help. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't.
He was Reggie. He was our version. He was a cheap version of Reggie Miller.
Well, Reggie Miller could shoot threes though. Rip wasn't.
Well, that's why I said he's a cheap version of Reggie Miller.
Rip couldn't shoot threes to save his life. Yeah. Really.
Cheap version of Reggie Miller. He'd run all over the court, and he could make shots, but he couldn't make Reggie Miller range shots. Yeah, Rip was. I liked Rip personally. Tayshaun, I thought, was a great defender. You know, that block against Reggie Miller was great against the Pacers. Some of those Pistons teams and those playoff series against the Pacers back in those days, dude. Listening to sports radio, it was like you would drive around just to listen to what was going on. You know?
Could throw Darko in there. A lot of people hate Darko. I never mind
Darko. He never did anything.
Yeah, I never hated Darko. I more hated the regime for drafting Darko.
Yeah, and not drafting Carmelo or Dwayne Wade.
Yeah.
Yes.
Chris Bosh.
Yeah.
That was a mistake. Well, I think we got it all out there.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much more to talk about. You know, Zetterberg, Lidstrom. We didn't even talk about Lidstrom. I mean, Mr. Steady for so many years, but he never was flashy.
No.
You know, and then the greatest Lion of all time is Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
You know,
the only Lion of all time.
Yeah, I mean, Barry.
Kelvin could be a beloved.
Yeah, I mean, I watched Barry, like we were just talking about before the show. It's like I grew up in the Barry era. And I'm telling you what, the greatest running back I ever saw.
Lions are on track now, though. The Lions could have some new beloveds coming up.
St. Brown. I'm all around St. Brown.
St. Brown's become up there. I could see Jahmyr Gibbs becoming that guy.
He's one of those guys. Like I wouldn't mind wearing a St. Brown jersey. I think buying a jersey, but like the Woodson shirt jersey.
Yeah, like a shirt, like a T-shirt that just has their number.
Yeah, just something I can go up to the store with.
Yeah, something for $30.
Yeah, work out in or something like that.
All right. Well, maybe we'll find some. We gotta find some more topics. Maybe something like that.
Yeah,
this was fun.
Yeah.
Until next one, Smith Boys.
See ya.
People go bye-bye.